All right, Play with Matches. We are back. We've got a shocking development in the Diddy case. I mean, I know we talked about Diddy case on Monday.
Every single day.
I mean, listen, dude, like there's a big trial coming up in May. This is not, it's not like there's no strategy behind this. We got to stay out front of this thing so that when the trial starts in May, we are, a front runner. I mean, that's more kind of my main channel, but this one too. So on Monday, Gabrielle, we talked about your boyfriend, Odell Beckham Jr., and Drewski getting brought into the lawsuit. Do you know who Drewski is?
No.
Okay, so I didn't really either, but now I do, and he is actually a very big deal. He's like a dude who went mega viral on like
is he a comedian?
Yeah, this is him. He's huge.
Okay.
He's like a really, really, really big star.
Literally no clue who he is. But
right.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
So now that we know who he is, okay, her story was that he doused her down with baby oil and then used her body as a slip and slide.
But he was like crushing her under his heavy weight.
And that's before he raped her. Anyway, so what she updated it with yesterday is now we have gone from no one believes this to anyone who does believe this is so stupid, you should seriously consider not looking at the internet for 1 year. Like just take, if you are still entertaining this story after this update that we're going to give you today, I'm not talking about Diddy. Okay. I'm not talking about the whole Diddy case. I'm talking about this one story from Ashley Parham. Okay.
Parham.
Whatever. Parham.
The only reason I know that is because it's one of my best friend's last name from high school.
I knew I recognized that last name.
And everyone used to say Parham, and she'd be like, Parham. So that's why I know it's pronounced.
Is this someone I know? Because
I don't know if I want to say my friend's first and last name.
Okay, fair enough. But so it's someone I know well then. Like, because I read, as soon as I read that, I'm like, where do I know that last name from?
No, you know her as one of my high school best friends.
Okay, fair enough. So here's the deal. Okay. Like, I want to put this out there in advance. If you are still hanging on to a thread that this story might be true, and then we tell you this new development of who she's brought into this and the story behind her, then I'm serious. I have something I want to sell you that is very, very expensive. It's in the middle of the Mississippi River. You have to take a boat there, but it's a chest full of gold that's worth $10 million. And all I need for it is $10,000. And I will give you a map to show you exactly where it is. Okay. Look at me. I know I was making a joke initially. I'm not making a joke anymore.
This is serious.
You send me $10,000. I will give you the map to exactly where a chest full of $10 million in gold is. I can't get to it anymore. It has no value for me. So I'd rather just take the 10 grand. So if you think this story is true, we should talk about the 10 million.
Email on the side.
Yep. All right. So what is the new development? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, do you guys remember this horrifying story that happened in Las Vegas, where the mass shooting in Las Vegas, where there was the big country concert and the guy started shooting from the 30th floor of don't quote me on that, but like from the Mandalay Bay, and it was horrible. It was at
the Jason Aldean concert.
A nearly unbelievable thing that happened, where it's like, how could this have happened, right?
And all kinds of reports
of second shooters.
Were not what they seemed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually, given my propensity for, conspiracy theorism, I am kind of embarrassed that I have not looked deeply into that case, aside from the fact that I did see one video that did seem to very clearly show someone shooting from a different floor. I saw a video from a cab driver that it appeared that way. Who knows? I don't know. That's the most I've ever looked at.
There's all kind of weird stuff like this. Like also the NCAA cheer competition that just happened with there was a shooter, but it was poles falling, but it was like mass hysteria and there's bullet hole.
Most of you probably have no idea what we're talking about.
It was everywhere. On
Instagram. We're talking to a YouTube. I had no idea. I never knew anything about this story. No one got killed.
Well, for those of y'all that don't know, NCAA is the biggest cheer competition in the country, basically.
Gabrielle was a college cheerleader and a competitive cheerleader. That's why this is so on her radar.
All-star teams prepare for this for the entire year. It's a huge, huge tournament in Dallas. And this last one, it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, somewhere around there. There was something that happened.
There was many reports that there was a shooter,
an active shooter.
The place
turned into absolute pandemonium.
Exactly what you would expect.
kids separated from parents. It took like hours and hours and hours. At the end of the day, Dallas PD comes in and says there's no active shooter. There were 2 dads who got in a fight over nachos, and they knocked over some poles.
And the poles made such a huge thing.
Is what people thought were the sound of gunshots. Now, whether or not that's true, we don't know. But there are videos all over the internet of the actual moment that it happened. It sounds like gunshots.
And then you also can hear the poles. And also you see, like, the kids are performing on stage in front of probably 50,000 people.
A lot of people there.
And they all look at each other, freak out, all run off stage, and you hear everyone screaming and running in all directions. Like,
chaos.
It does appear that there was a shooter. However, no one got shot, no one got killed. It's very, very bizarre. There's a bullet hole in the glass. It's weird. Nonetheless, right? This story in particular was like happened at a time during, the big guy's first presidency where people were very, very suspicious of things like this, where it was like, that was when we would still do like a rotating sequence of like whether it was these things were all happening at once or the media was choosing to present, it's like, oh, okay, right now, we're doing mass shooters again, we're doing mass shooters again. And then it was like, oh, we're doing police brutality again. We're doing racism in America again.
Yeah. What stories are we running?
Right. So like, and this one happened to where people were suspicious that maybe, psyop or something, whatever. I haven't looked into it to know whether or not, but the reason we're talking about this is because recently, you guys remember the Maui fires, correct? Where the entire Lahaina, I think, burned to the ground. There was all this suspicious stuff about the water, no access to the water, kind of similar to what happened in LA.
Palisades.
Yeah, very, very suspicious situation. I think they also said there that it was fireworks that started it. Who knows? Whatever.
It wasn't those kids playing out in the hills.
No. I still think it's highly likely that those kids did it. Okay, so the police chief who was the police chief in Las Vegas at the time of the concert shooting had moved and was then the police chief in Hawaii at the time of the fires. And someone put that together and was like, oh my God, like, the guy was the chief of police in Vegas during this event, was now the chief of police during this fire event. It's like, he's a CIA asset. He's whatever. Like, so bottom line is this dude, I mean, listen, I'm not saying whether there is, merit to that particular theory, but that is something that is a fact. This guy was the police chief of both.
That is an interesting fact.
Well, now it turns out that if you guys recall the story related to the Diddy thing that happened in Orinda, okay, so Diddy, was all that stuff. She says, I think he killed Tupac. He stops everything, pulls together
sets up an elaborate plan.
A rape crew that he gets on a private jet. They send over there, all that stuff. Then, his own team, a guy who just committed one of the most violent rapes of all time on her is like, wait, did you just admit you killed Tupac? Suddenly he's on her team and they're shooting at Diddy. 5 minutes later.
Turns out there were some other celebrities there now.
Yeah, it's Odell Beckham Jr. Drewski. Also, the guy who took a shot at Diddy suddenly later in the story, Diddy's back at the house and the guy has just forgotten about all of that. And he's not in the story anymore. And she has a knife to Diddy's throat. She's going to cut him. And then he kicks her down the stairs, but she stops and then turns around and slashes Diddy. All of those things. And
then the cops arrive as Diddy's peeling out down the street.
Right.
So misses him entirely.
But before that, a cop had arrived and had questioned them and had not,
while it was going on,
had not done anything. Like, wow, like just had come and there's all these shots fired in Orinda and it was just like, all right, we're just going to let this thing go. And suddenly now she's remembered the police officer who came was actually the cop who was the chief of police in Las Vegas and Maui. And he was posing as the local sheriff at that time.
Well, this certainly makes sense.
Okay. So it's crazy. Like, listen, the Maui police chief has now been accused in bombshell. I can't believe that these people with a straight face are doing. They just are. I think
have so much fun writing these.
I have a feeling that they are not actually reading this lawsuit. I feel like we know a lot more about this lawsuit than the journalists who are writing about it, because they're like, oh my gosh. They're like, so Odell Beckham, because honestly, everywhere I look, these journalists are treating this the same as like any other accusation, as if this particular one has bulletproof credibility. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys, Diddy was employing this super famous
Sorry, my cord was caught in my shoe.
Okay. So again, yeah, bombshell court filing helping to cover up a gang rape allegedly carried out by Diddy, ODB, or Odell Beckham Jr., and Drewski. The police chief, John Pelletier, is accused of trying to conceal the violent attack on one of Combs' accusers, Ashley Parham, after it was reported in 2018.
No N in her name.
The police chief and the celebrities accused of carrying out the attack have strenuously denied the allegations. Yeah, that's because, honestly, all this case proves. Let me tell you something. I actually entertained with Gabrielle this morning that this particular lawsuit might be Diddy's own team orchestrating this to just demonstrate
so crazy
that you can say anything, literally anything in a lawsuit, and people will run the stories and believe it. It's like, and like the more that they believe one story, they're all, hey, let's just amend it, dude. Let's say it's the Maui police chief now. Like, why not? Yeah. Hey, they believed this the first time. They believe that Diddy, and also this is genius because they can prove that Diddy was like at an award show that entire day or whatever. They're like, let's pick this day where everybody on earth knows where he was. And it's like, okay, they bought it. Now let's add on, I don't know, let's play fucking Mad Libs. They're like, Drewski, who wasn't even a celebrity in 2018. Drewski's response is he's like, dude, in 2018, I was living at my mom's house after I graduated college with no idea what I was going to do with my life. He's like, I didn't even know any of these people.
Yeah.
And they're all, and Odell Beckham Jr. There it is.
And the cherry on top.
And then they believe that one.
Chief from Maui.
Yeah. Hey, how come that cop did not arrest them? They're all, well, it's because all the famous police officers, they're all Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin, before kneeling on George Floyd's neck, was actually in Orinda and helped cover it up. Honestly, I bet you if they saw this, they're all, fuck, we should have said Derek Chauvin, dude.
Should've.
Like, he's more famous. It should have said Chauvin. Okay. The fact that the Maui, okay, so the Maui,
this is insane. It's
so absurd. Okay.
I wonder who's going to be next.
Honestly.
I can't wait.
Here we go. Listen to this, dude. This is so absurd, dude. Listen to this. Pelletier falsely posing as a Contra Costa chef. The reason this one is so absurd to us is because this is our home. This is where we lived.
Yeah,
this is literally exactly where we lived. When I went to go apply for my concealed carry permit twice when I lived at home in California,
got denied.
The Contra Costa sheriff is who I applied with and where I went and did my personal in-person interview. Okay, like, I know these people. That's especially why this story is so fucking stupid. It's
literally,
guys,
your backyard where you grew up.
She's doing this in my hometown. Okay. Pelletier, falsely posing as a Contra Costa sheriff, told the alleged victim and the neighbor that they had received several noise complaints prior to the neighbor's call and instructed Parham to find a way to get home. She's like, I just got gang raped by all of these guys. I don't have clothes. I'm bloody, whatever. And he's like, just find a way to get home. Don't worry. He's like, hey, Diddy, don't worry. I'm going to cover this up for you. Pelletier allegedly didn't offer to take the woman home, call an ambulance, take her to the hospital, help retrieve belongings from the home she just fled. The accuser alleges seeing the top cop hand what appeared to be an envelope to the neighbor.
Hush money. Hush money.
Pelletier was there. He's like, hey, Diddy, listen, I got you, bro. I got you. I brought that hush money. I'm also a bag man, you know. I brought money. Listen, we can take this any direction you want. Look, like we can bribe this guy. We can kill this guy, man. The neighbor went to a nearby room and quickly returned empty-handed. Oh my God. And the victim believes the envelope contained cash. Okay.
How does she know that the neighbor went into another room? Like, what?
No, like she went back into the house. Okay, so check this out too.
That's not what it says.
Yesterday, I like the article that I was reading in my video, like missed a ton, because I know this case so well. It had missed a ton of details, and I was trying to find an article. I'm like, okay, whatever. And there was one that had a PDF of the entire lawsuit. Mm-hmm. So I pulled up the actual lawsuit, like the her statement, and I was reading it, and it was like I couldn't read it to make it funny because what she says happened in the assault is so graphic and so horrifying that I was like, okay, I know this is a lie, but I can't make this funny. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say these words and make it funny.
Right.
So like a person who would say this happened to her and say that these people did this to her when she's completely lying 100%, it's like, this goes beyond vindictive and goes into a different world of like serious mental illness, like serious mental illness.
She's a wackadoodle.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite words, by the way.
Whack-a-noodle is...
I use the word whack-a-noodle
She does, dude.
at least once a day.
Yeah. And literally every single one of these guys' denials have been so like hilarious because they're just like Diddy's
They
person
can't
was
even
like,
believe that it's a thing.
yeah, Diddy's guy is like, Diddy's lawyer's like, Diddy is provably like the police investigated this. Diddy was not in the state of California when this happened. There's no truth to this whatsoever. This is absurd. Odell Beckham Jr. is like, wait, what? He's like, I don't even know.
That's all their responses are like, huh?
Yeah. Odell Beckham Jr. is like, so wait, I've been called into what? He's like, I wasn't there. And Drewski's is the best. He's like, I wasn't even famous in 2018. He's like, I was living with my mom, dude. He's like, I was living with my mom. I had no idea what I was going to do.
Diddy?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He's like, I didn't even know Odell Beckham Jr. then. And then, I mean, the guy, the police chief, more professionally, is like, this is absurd.
Right. He's dealt.
Yeah. So Pelletier, Beckham Jr., Drewski have all strenuously denied the allegations now in the amended filing.
Strenuously denied. That's such a weird word choice.
Well, you want it? Where do I remember?
Strenuously denied.
Hold on. What movie is that from? That's it's from A Few Good Men. A Few Good Men.
Okay.
In a very famous like moment because there's like the woman who's on the case with
strenuously denied.
Yes. No. Okay, so let me rewind. Okay, so it's like Tom Cruise is the lead.
You can't handle the truth.
Yes, that's exactly. And you have Tom Cruise. You have his second, who's a really famous actor. I can't remember. And then you have the third, who's a woman. And she's always trying to like jockey to be like the lead. And in the middle of the case, she's like, we object. And then the judge is like, overruled. She's like, Your Honor, the prosecution strenuously objects. And he's like, overruled. And then afterwards, the number two guy's like, oh, well, you strenuously object. And he fucking demolishes her. And like,
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Strenuously denied. It's so weird.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, like denied isn't even strong enough for this. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, yeah. Is
that supposed to be Diddy?
Listen, let me tell you something.
Forget his retainer?
This is my favorite topic of all time to demonstrate idiotic, bureaucratic government inefficiency. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so today we were talking about something RFK's doing related to ingredients and Gabrielle looked up the rule that they were referencing. It was like, oh, this is all based on this thing that they did in 1906 or something. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm like, that right there just shows that like, that's how inefficient government is. We're still going off of rules made 119 years ago. Okay. Like no one's looked to update this, whatever. And in the same vein,
it takes forever to update anything.
Why do we use courtroom artists again?
Because photos aren't allowed.
Because we didn't have cameras back then, right?
No, they say that it's because cameras like aren't allowed in there. It's not.
Wait, you're telling no. Courtroom artists started because cameras and photography did not exist. Okay,
right,
like so someone would go in there and
like not allowed for some reason, but you're allowed to draw pictures.
Okay.
It makes no sense.
The public is not allowed to bring in cameras. You could have a court, because you have a court appointed artist. Like you understand, it's a court appointed artist. That's their job. As they go in there like, shh, and they do this for some reason. It's like, I have an idea, guys. How about you replace the fucking artist with a court appointed photographer who can take a photograph? This is the dumbest thing ever. Like this is the stupidest thing of all time.
I like it. I like this painting.
I mean, it looks exactly like him.
It's like, what happened to his teeth?
I don't know. His teeth are fucked. Like
he forgot his retainer.
Yeah, they're like, we've been reading about this.
But he still has his diamond earrings in.
I mean, this is just... Does he? No, I think that's just the way the light's flickering off. He's not allowed to wear diamond earrings.
I don't know.
Anyway, so hang on. So the initial suit union... Yeah, this is the one. The attackers have allegedly referred to Beckham as Cornelius. Whoa. Oh, we're not up. I was going to say, I was like, whoa, what's that photograph?
Yeah. It's a photo of two women with champagne being poured on their bodies.
With no tops on. Yeah, here we go. Okay, hang on. Let's read this though.
Drewski called it
a fabricated. He said, I wasn't even a public figure in 2018. I was broke, living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of the allegation. So the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident the evidence will expose this falsehood in individuals. So literally, like, this is the one allegation where I've heard everyone universally being like, okay, because of the Drewski part. Like, still, when we talked about this last time about this case, there were people who I'm like buddies with who are like, I mean, maybe it's not true, but like I could see this being true. And I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude?
What planet do you live on?
What are you talking about? His own guy who participated in a violent assault turned on him.
For me, it's calling his mom. It will always be calling his mom.
You know what part that we forgot about that I remembered yesterday? What? So it went from he offers her money to say it was consensual. Whoever said anything about anything, why would she say it's consensual or say anything about it at all, right? Here's some money. Just say it's consensual. After they just ran a train on her while she's screaming and crying and her body shut down because so many dudes were like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To then, when she doesn't take the money, his next thing up, and before they did it, he put a knife in her mouth and said he was going to give her a Glasgow smile.
I forgot about that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I remember this yesterday. So originally he's going to put a knife in her mouth and give her a Glasgow smile. That's how it started. So she's like, okay. And they stripped her down and then took it from her. And then afterwards, okay, a person who said he was going to slice her face like this is now like, here, now just take some money, say it was consensual. You're all, man, that's a violent shift.
Yeah.
I thought we were going with fear, right? So then when she doesn't take it, he calls his mom. And Janice Combs is like on FaceTime. Don't hurt my son. So after that, she's all, it's too bad. He's a rapist. The part that I forgot was that they then FaceTimed some other guy who was in front of her sister's house.
Oh, right.
FaceTiming. And now they're like, well, then we're going to kill your family. I'm like, what? And she even said in the
crazy movie plot.
What I didn't realize is that in the lawsuit, which they never mentioned apparently, it was her estranged sister that she has not seen in forever. How the fuck would Diddy know who her estranged sister is and where to find her? Like, it's like, what the, you know what I mean? It's like, what? And they were in front of my estranged sister's house. You're all, so hang on. Let's just talk about that one part. So the reason he's there is because some dude, a cancer patient in Lafayette, met you at a bar and said, I know Diddy. He's like, here's this girl. And you're like, I think you killed Tupac. And he's all, shut down everything we got going, dog. We're going out there. And by the way, put a private detective on her so we could find all of her old relatives. And instead of her parents or anybody that she knows, find her estranged sister. And then put someone outside their house so we could FaceTime them and use them as leverage if she says she won't take the money after we threaten to cut her face off and then grape her, and then we offer her money to say it's consensual. If she doesn't take that, we'll call my mom. If she doesn't work with the mom, then we'll threaten to kill her estranged sister. It's the fucking stupidest thing ever. In the history of allegations, it's the dumbest fucking thing ever.
It just gets crazier and crazier every day. Like, I genuinely am excited to see who gets named next. Like, who else was there?
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, right? After all that, it's already that ludicrous. Then
months later,
it turns out and then we haven't even gotten into the part where after that happens, our fucking bodyguard, he says to her, I've gotten away with worse. I killed Tupac. Bodyguard, who just participated in raping her, says, you said what? And then all of a sudden, Bodyguard turns gun on Diddy. She jumps behind Bodyguard. Now they're on the same team. She tries to take the gun from the guy, ends up shooting it at Diddy, who's running away, and misses Diddy. Fucking 2 minutes later, somehow, the Bodyguard is no longer in the story.
He's gone.
And she has a knife, and she puts it to Diddy's face on the stairs in the house. Bodyguard gone. He doesn't care that he killed Tupac anymore. She decides that, no, God, she's gone too far. Like now, because he's so terrified and pleading for his life, she's like, my humanity came back. So I said, oh, fine, I won't kill him. Kicks her down the stairs, which she Supermans, stops herself, swings the knife around, cuts Diddy right here. While Diddy is getting first aid, okay, somehow she can't just leave, right? Then she calls the cops. The cops come. Turns out it's the cop from the fucking Maui fires, as well as the Vegas thing, pretending to be the sheriff of Contra Costa. He gives money to the neighbor to keep his hush money to the neighbor, right? Neighbor goes inside and says, oh, I don't remember any of this. He went and took it, hid the money, whatever. And then 2 months later, she remembers, oh, fuck, man. I do remember the John Doe. It was Odell Beckham Jr. and Drewski that were there. It's like Drewski wasn't even famous, so I don't know, man. It was him, and he used me like a slip and slide. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's what I'm saying. If you still believe this story, come on, dude. Like, fucking come on.
Haven't her friends made statements or something too? Or am I making that up?
As far as I know, no one has had her back on this. Dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did someone say something? Like, I feel like there was some sort of character person.
It's not as far as I know.
I've got to find.
Okay, so listen, let's just hear what this says right here, though, because they're saying, like, okay, Mr. Combs was never anywhere near Orinda, California on the day Miss Parham claims she was assaulted, and the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department already confirmed Miss Parham's claims were determined to be unfounded following a thorough investigation.
So, hold up. Even if Mr. Officer, whoever was there from Maui, the entire Contra Costa Sheriff's Department stands by the fact that they conducted a thorough investigation and it was unfounded. So, like,
they validated that Mr. Combs was not in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in an attempt to salvage her claims following the investigation debunking them, Miss Parham is now invented an even wilder narrative alleging a vast and facially implausible conspiracy between law enforcement, local civilians, and media industry players. Mr. Combs looks forward to having his day in court where these lies and the perverse motives of those who told them will be revealed. Honestly, this is the first time, this is the only case where I almost feel like, no, I don't actually. This is what you get if you do what Diddy. But it's like, he really has to deal with this.
Like we
I
were
do
saying,
feel bad for Drewski and those guys. So it's like, you really
I feel bad for them. And also, like we were saying yesterday, I feel bad for actual victims.
Of course.
Of SA. Like, because we're laughing because it's like watching a bad movie comedy play out. Like, it's so factually crazy that it's funny. But But what it ends up doing, like we were saying, is taking people who have actually been victims and making them have to defend themselves in a way that they shouldn't have to, because whack-a-noodles like this exist in the world. It's sad.
And I said in my video yesterday, where I close it out, it's like, I mean, I feel like I should just right this second. I got to come clean, man. I got to come clean. And you know, listen, when I first moved to Austin, I told Gabrielle that I had a business meeting downtown.
Get my functional.
And I did have a business meeting downtown. I went to the hotel where I was supposed to meet Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey didn't show up, though. It turned out that Harvey Keitel, you may remember him from the movie Bad Lieutenant from the 90s, and Nicolas Cage from Bad Lieutenant in the mid 2000s. They met me there. They're like, don't worry, Matthew McConaughey is upstairs in the hotel room. I go up there. Keep in mind, this is 2018, right? And so when I get to the hotel room, it's fucking Harvey Weinstein. And he's there, and he asked me for a massage. When I said no, the two of these guys came out of the room with gimp suits on. They ripped their little hats down, and now they're just like leather-faced fucking crazies. And they took turns on me while I screamed and cried. So let's file that lawsuit. Weinstein, Nicolas Cage, Matthew McConaughey, Harvey Keitel. Let's go.
Leave Matthew McConaughey out of this.
Oh, yeah. Matthew McConaughey wasn't actually there.
Thank you.
You know? I mean, like, it's fucking ridiculous. Nothing. There's not one part of this that is even moderately believed. It's so outlandish. Again, like I said at the beginning, if you still believe this story, I have $10 million in gold in the Mississippi River that I will give to you in exchange for $10,000. I'll give you a map. Then it's on you to go find it. Okay? I mean, come on, dude.
It's definitely there, though.
Fucking ridiculous. But yeah, so this case just keeps on giving. It's like, it's just never going to end. It really makes you wonder, like how many of these civil cases are absolute outright nonsense.
Well, didn't the lawyer, the Busby, didn't he get like 6,000?
Well, because so one thing I did learn, so you know how Jay-Z and them kept calling him 1-800 attorney? It's because Busby really did come out and say, if you have been assaulted by Diddy, 1-800. I didn't know that.
It's a class action type deal.
Yeah, I didn't know that, right? So,
I mean, how else are you going to do it, though? Like,
shit, I don't know. I have no idea.
The claims were so plentiful against Diddy that he needed a way for victims to be able to call in. Like, I
guess the thing is like the Gloria Allred is representing the girl who ended up with a videotape of the incident in the studio or whatever, where she said this and this happened. I don't know, and man, I don't know. I mean that's the one where there's a video and now you have Allred. Tony Busby, his first case, he's not allowed to practice law in New York anymore because he filed a lawsuit from a girl where if a person made one phone call.
He really got disbarred in New York?
Not disbarred, but he's not allowed to practice law in the Eastern District of New York anymore. And he was on the board of the, because it was so ridiculous. Like they're like, so you didn't fucking vet this
anything.
at all.
Nothing. Yeah, I didn't even talk to the dad.
Like nothing. You did no fact checking at all. You didn't validate that, like anything. Yeah. Right? Because her story, she saw a good Charlotte there. All you would have to do is just go cross check. Was Good Charlotte at the VMAs that year? Oh, they weren't. They were on tour. Cool. Like that's like step one vetting. So all you did is just find some random person who said Jay-Z raped them, and you're like, yep, file the lawsuit. So again, but one thing to consider about the entire Jay-Z thing is this, okay? You have to really think about how all of this came to be, which is, I would say, nearly 100% certain that Diddy went against the grandmasters that he was in business with forever, which is the BlackRock guys and all of those guys. They have an agreement, you know, like they made him a billionaire, and then he turned on them and then sued them and threatened all this stuff. And so they destroyed him. Jay-Z is still 100% good with them, like beyond good. You were gonna say Beyonce. Well, both of them. Beyonce and Jay-Z are aces with them. So Jay-Z getting roped into this, that's collateral damage. That's actually unacceptable to them. You know, like these guys, they're not gonna fucking destroy loyal people they do business with that are like leaders in the black community. It's like Diddy and Jay-Z, those guys are actually important to what they do. They need influence. Yeah. They need leaders in those communities. Yeah. So like, they're not trying to destroy Jay-Z. They're trying to destroy Diddy. Is the right word. Influencer is the right word. That's the same thing. No, it's not. But go ahead. Fair enough. But we're saying the same thing. Yeah. Call it whatever you want, right? So the fact that case got thrown out and Busby got fucked as a result of it, you know, it's like they probably wouldn't. I don't know if they would have done that for Usher, you know, or whoever. Like but Jay-Z is a touch of ADD today. Jay-Z's best friends with the fucking Obamas. Okay. Like if you want to bring a fucking horseshit case against them, these guys are going to help. That's what they do. It's a deal with the devil, man. Yeah. Like if you're cool with them and down with them. Speaking of which, listen, we're never touching any kids or doing we're not assaulting anyone or whatever. But if you want to turn us into billionaires and you just or tell us like, hey man, just don't talk about these topics. Like, are you trying to get backed by these people? We won't talk about the topics. Okay. If that's all we got to do. It's just like, hey, listen, you're pretty smart about the moon landing, man. We need you to stop talking about the moon landing. We'll make you billionaires. How about we don't make a deal with the devil and we just ask y'all to subscribe? Yeah, that seems like a better deal. We'd rather make a deal with you guys. Because that was definitely a joke. We're not making deals, dude, with anybody except you guys. Anyway, that is what we've got today. So see you next time. Love you guys.